What is going on, ICBA fans? My name is Frosty, and I am the Alpha Like a Rocket. Welcome back to another draft analysis video. And actually, the first video I've done in a long time. Oh, God, it's been so long. So yeah, it's probably been about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months. Maybe about close to 5 months since my last video. Not because I didn't want to record, it's just because life gets busy. Nothing more than that. If you guys know, those who do know me is what I should say. Those who do know me know that I changed jobs. So I ended up getting a new job title, a new job schedule, and it just was a very, very hectic few months there. So yeah, let's go and discuss last season. Last season we ended up winning. We took the, I think it was the Ula Ula division. We ended up winning the Ula Ula division. In the playoffs, we played Cap. We ended up beating Cap on the back of Choice Scar Buzzwall, but we ended up falling to Dom in the semifinals and the conference finals, basically. So we ended up taking third to fourth place last season. So I was extremely happy about how that went out, considering that the team, on paper, a lot of people overlooked, but it was definitely a big, scary team. And if you didn't plan for it, it did do things. But so yeah. So sorry, I lost track of what I was doing here. So it's been a few months since I played Mons. I know a lot of things changed. Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon came out. We also got some new things. A lot of new things got defog. I ended up finding that out when I when I became a coach, an all-star coach for the Token Minorities tournament. I didn't make it out of groups, but I didn't really care. It was just a nice, fun way back in and a nice way to get back in. So, but also, as you guys can see on there, we are rocking a brand new logo. We are rocking a brand new layout for this. Special thanks to Aaron. He got the okay for me to use this. And also big thanks to Big Bill Standish, our bro. He made us a brand new logo. This is our final name change, and it comes with a little bit of a backstory. When I came up with the Golden State War Turtles, it wasn't my first choice for a team name. It was because in my original league that I was in, there was already a team from Oakland, so I didn't want to just overstep the boundaries on that. So I chose to become the Golden State War Turtles. Mainly because at the time the Warriors were winning and they had just won their first. They were in the process of winning the NBA Finals. From there, last season I did the San Diego and Padres. I did it kind of as a meme, but this time I'm taking it actually seriously. This is going to be my team name from now on. There will be no more. It was supposed to be kind of like based off the Oakland A's logo, where it was I kind of wanted it to look like an Arcanine balancing on a Pokeball. If you don't know what I'm talking about, search the Oakland A's elephant and then you will see it. You can't miss it. So, but he came up with this one. I really liked it, liked the colors. Then his laptop went to shit. So, hopefully Bill's laptop gets fixed and all of that. But he did make us this nice logo. He was able to actually show me this logo before. And so this is officially what we're going to be rocking. If it needs to get fixed or anything, he'll do that, and we'll use that logo from now on. But I'm pretty sure this was it. I'm pretty sure this was the logo that we're going to be using. But basically, I am now going to be the coach of the Oakland A's, aka the Oakland Arcanines. That is going to be my team from here on out. So, getting into Season 3 ICBA, we had a lot of things happen. So we no longer have an S tier. The S tier that was there is no longer there. It has been replaced for the Ultra tier. The Ultra tier is a bunch of broken fucking shit. It is a bunch of broken shit. And by broken shit, I'm talking Negrandule. I'm talking Donswing Necrozma. I'm talking some big broken shit. So, Mega Blaziken is there. Not everything made it, because it ended up that Speed Boost Blaziken got banned after what happened last season with it. Also, there was actually a lot of box legendaries up for it on the list here, but none of them made it other than just Dawn Wings and Necrozma. Other than that, there was Marshadow. I was actually kind of hoping it would make it, but I don't blame them for not allowing it in League. It is supremely broken, so that one didn't make it, but as you can see, We have 11 Mons, and we're going full on 11. As you can see down there, almost in between the 5th and the free picks, you're going to see the Mega. The Megas this season are not optional. They are required. Since all the Mega Stones are in the game and they are allowed, they are no longer part of the S tier. The Megas are mandatory this season, so that is going to be really nice, considering last season we kind of grouped them in the S tier, and you know, if you wanted to use a Mega, you could. If you didn't want to, you didn't have to. So sorry, I am going to be drinking Dr. Pepper during this, so I don't really care. That's how I am. But with all the bunch of broken shit, I randomized the draft order. We end up getting 5th overall pick. Funny enough, Johnny GB actually gets 1st overall, which I find kind of funny, considering last season admin Spanik got it 1st overall. So 1st overall the last 2 seasons has gone to an admin of some type, but 5th overall wasn't bad. It was definitely workable position to have. As I had a draft plan. As if you guys don't know me, I have a plan. I have plans. I have plans for plans for plans. When I get into draft mode, I am in like planning draft mode. Like, I have my pick, then my secondary pick, then my thirdary pick, then a 4th pick that compensates for all 3 of those, should all 3 of those randomly fucking go. But I knew that this season, when it came to the Ultra tier, I was actually not going to step anywhere near it. It costs 200 points minimum of your free points. So not only is it 200 points, but if you choose a Mega, that is, because some of the Megas are in there, like Mega Latios and Mega Blaziken, they count as your Mega, and you lose your 200 free points, or your 240. It goes 200, 220, 240. So you have a possibility of being stuck basically with 160 points to have to try to get 4 free picks out of, which means you really have to work your bottom tiers. But other than that, I didn't want to step near it. I didn't like limiting myself to that, so I had a plan. I had this plan kind of coming around since the Token Minorities tournament. I had, just kind of come up with this core that I kind of wanted to use, and I was going to go for it. Especially being in 5th position, this was a great position, considering that I knew that there was going to be a lot of broken shit on the board that was going to go way before my picks were. So I probably could have had last pick and probably still got my pick. So here it is. We go into round 1. And I knew the Mon I wanted to pick right off the bat. I wanted to pick this Mon. I wanted to have it. I wanted to use it. Pause there. So, just as to give you a heads up, the names for this season are going to be based on a theme. I decided to theme all my teams this season. And this season's theme is one of my favorite game series and one of my favorite lore game series, and that is Dark Souls. I'm a huge fan of the Dark Souls series, and I am also a huge fan of the Dark Souls lore. I am very into the Dark Souls lore, and I watch a lot of videos on it. So all of the names of our Mons are going to be based off Dark Souls characters. They're not going to be based off of Dark Souls 2 or 3. It is only going to be the original Dark Souls. So I could probably do something off of Dark Souls 3 if I really wanted to, and I actually almost did, but I just wanted to keep it this way just to make it easier. So unpause. Going back, my first pick came up. I wanted to use this Mon. This is the Mon I wanted to use the entire time. So my first pick overall, I decided to pick up our big boy Smau, aka Celesteela. Our big boy Smau there. I totally did that backwards, but I don't even care. So I did that as my tier 1 pick. I wanted to pick this. This thing is great. It is got beast boost, great defenses, great move set. It can set up sweep. You know what it does. It's Celesteela. I liked having it. I liked the variety of what it can give me, and I liked building it as a team because it gives me something that gives me great typings. Steel Flying is great typing, so being able to get that, plus having great defenses and great offenses as well, and the move pool on it is stupid. Like, I still don't know who at Game Freak thought it was a good idea for this thing to get Leech Seed, but it is what it is. So with that, I knew I wanted to finish. I wanted to do my Dragon Fairy Steel Core, and I wanted to work on that. So I wanted to ensure I got a good dragon. Now this pick, on my second pick, I wanted to make sure I got a great dragon, and I wanted to pick a high tier dragon. I thought about using Garchomp, and I was like, no, I've used Garchomp before. I don't really want to use a Garchomp. I kind of want to use something else. My first original core was to have Celesteela, Latios and Mega Diancie. And I thought that was going to be a really great attack core, like a really great Dragon Fairy Steel core. It doesn't quite work out that way, but the dragon I ended up picking was one I really kind of wanted to use. And though I could have picked Latios, it would have kind of limited my set potentials with him. But I still think it was I still think that this one gives me a little bit more. It also gives me a good Z Crystal user, as this one and my Celesteela are both Z Crystal Mons. They're both allowed to use Z Crystals. With that, my second pick overall was Salamence, aka Seath. He is based off Seath the Scaleless. He just reminds me a lot of him, just in design of both of the characters. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go search out Seath the Scaleless from Dark Souls 1. You'll see I don't know why, this just kind of perfectly fits him. So, but this is a Salamence, you know, we know what it is. It's got great speed, great defenses. It can go both ways on attacks. It gets Moxie. That's something you always have to fear when somebody has a Moxie user, is that somebody's going to use Scarf Moxie. Not only that, because it's got Z Crystal priority, it has the abilities of being something that can just Dragon Dance up and sweep through your team. You know, there's a Choice Specs version of this thing that does work. So I'm excited for it. I'm not excited for the 4x ice weakness, but it is what it is. It's a dragon, and it's a hell of a dragon. So I think last season, I think it was in the top 10 for kills. So I don't remember for certain, but yeah. So this next pick is a little bit controversial, just because I didn't want to pick it at this. It's kind of controversial to me because I didn't want to pick it in this round. I didn't want to pick it in round 3. I felt it was something that could wait a little bit longer, as I wanted to pick something else that might have fit the team a little bit better. But then when somebody showed interest, that they said they were kind of looking at this Mon, I actually realized I did not plan a backup for this. Now, in hindsight, I probably could have gotten something else. You know, I could have actually really looked, but I didn't really look. But I felt this one greatly fit my team the best. It wasn't just because of, I didn't want somebody to have it. It was because when it fits into the team, I felt this one was the best fit for the team. The other one would have worked, but it would have been like, kind of like putting a band-aid on a gash, on a big open gash. You know, it's like, yeah, it could kind of work, but it's not really what it was designed for, and how the team was, or how it was designed. So with this third pick, I decided to pick up Empoleon. And as you can see, this is a free pick, so I ended up picking 2 higher tier 3s. That's why this one goes into the free picks. But this is going to be Gwyn, our Lord of Sunlight. Gwyn is funny enough as a lightning user, but because this is the Emperor Pokemon, and Gwyn is the king of the gods is in the Dark Souls lore, that I felt this one really kind of fit his persona. And so I almost went with Artorias, just because the color scheme for Empoleon really fits Artorias, but in the end I ended up going with Gwyn. So Empoleon's great because it gives me 2 things. It gives me rocks, it gives me a bulky water type. This also gives me something that is quad resistant to ice. That is something I wanted to have, considering another pick that I'm going to pick in the next round. So not only that, it gives me a Defogger and it gives me a Stealth Rocker. This gives me somebody that gives me some good water. It gives me a Scald user. There's always something good. Plus, this thing is not fully immune to status, but it is immune to poison, so it's hard to do that. The only thing this thing really kind of misses is just reliable recovery, but that's kind of something we can get around. We can get around that. You don't have to have that. And with other things, I have ways of getting around it. So yes, I have 2 steel types within the first 3 rounds, but this one quad resisted, as this one works with Salamence. And Salamence is resistant to all of this thing's weaknesses, and this thing is resistant to all of Salamance's weaknesses. So I think Empoleon fits the team good. It gives me what I need in building a good, not only defensive core, but a good utility core as well. So something that can kind of do multiple things. There's definitely an attack set on this, so I'm definitely excited to be able to bring that one game this season. So I'm excited to be able to bring Empoleon, because I've never actually gotten to use it. I've been really wanting to use it. And I used one in a Wi-Fi battle that I didn't get to put on the channel. It was a physically defensive Empoleon, and it was paired with a specially defensive Latias. And I was like, and the other one had Wish Pass. So it was like being able to keep them alive by just Wish Passing into the other. It was just really cool, and it was a really good one. So it was a really good Yu-Gi-Oh set. But yeah. But round 4, I had to pick up my next component for this because I really wanted this out of my T2 pick. But I wanted to make sure nobody got it. It's something that I think fits also well with Empoleon, as Empoleon covers this thing's weaknesses, as this thing also covers Empoleon's weaknesses. And with that, I picked, in my 4th round, I picked Gliscor, who I am naming Koth. Koth is one of the primordial serpents, I believe. If I remember correctly, Koth is the one that advocates for the Age of Dark. It advocates that humanity should take over and the Age of Dark should go and the Age of Fire should end. So with that, he kind of gives off that primordial serpent vibe because, he's got a tail, I don't know. I feel Koth really fit the name of Gliscor, but Gliscor gives me another defogger, gives me another rocker, and to have 2 mons that have utilities to both is really great. Not only on top of that, he's got great defenses, but also he's got good speed at 95. So he doesn't always have to be a defense. He can always be a offensive type of mon as well. And this gives me a immunity to electric, but it does give me another 4 times ice weakness that I'm not all that happy about, but it is what it is. So like I said, Empoleon kind of covers Gliscor covers Empoleon. They kind of do what they need to do, but I really felt Gliscor was a really great fit here and being able to build this team effectively. So with that, we go into round 5, and with this one, I'm looking over some of the drafts. I'm looking over who's got megas, who doesn't have megas, because I'm kind of on the fence of when I want to get my mega. And then I look at Dom's picks, and I go, I cannot allow him to get this pick from me, this mega, because I need it, especially for my team, because Deontay was not there any longer. It was kind of up there, but I really kind of switched to having this one. I originally kind of wanted Mega Lopunny, but I never thought I would actually get it. So it was kind of like, hey, if it's there when I decide to draft a Mega, I'm gonna get it. But if it's not there, oh my god, I'm not out anything. But excuse me, I'm not really out anything. So with this one, I looked at his team, and he had some, oh god, what did he have? He had some ridiculousness. He had like Jirachi and Darkrai and like one other thing, and I was like, okay, if he gets this mon, he's going to steamroll through some teams, and I cannot allow him to get this mon. So with my 5th pick overall, I picked up our Mega. I picked up our Fairy type to round out our Dragon Fairy Steel Core, as I picked a Mega Gardevoir, a.k.a. Guinevere, a.k.a. Big Booby Son. Yeah, go search Guinevere in Dark Souls, and you will find out what I'm talking about. If you already know it, praise the sun. So definitely had to pick this thing up. It is got a monstrous 165 attack, or special attack. It is absolutely monstrous. It's a great wall breaker, and it's something that I wanted to have, as Salamence and Gardevoir together make a really good pair, especially with Celesteela. So I thought that that Dragon Fairy Steel Core was going to work out very well. I wanted a very offensive Dragon Fairy Steel Core, and I thought this would be the best way to do it. So Gardevoir, we all kind of know what it does. It does get some wish passing. I've used regular Gardevoir before back in season 1, but this time I am excited to be able to use Mega Gardevoir, because I've actually never gotten to use a Mega Gardevoir in any Wi-Fi battle ever. I've used most of the Megas, but Gardevoir is the one that I cannot get a chance to use, and I'm extremely excited to be able to have it. So yeah, so with that, we go into round 6. My round 6, I wanted to pick a grass type. I wanted to build a kind of really offensive I keep saying fire water grass, and I'm not trying to. Dragon Fairy Steel Core, but also kind of a semi-defensive fire water grass core, as a core that kind of works together to cover the needs. And so with that, I was like, well, what kind of grass type do I want to get? I know Tangro's gone. It's been gone since like round 4 or round 3, I think, actually. it goes pretty quick. And I thought about doing a regenerator core, but that would then require that I go back and get another water type. And I was like, I don't need another water type. I don't really need that. That's not exactly how I want to build the team. And I've already used the regenerator core, so I don't really want to have to use it a second season. I want to try something different. So I ended up picking this mod because I've actually used it before and I really like what it brings. And I actually wanted to have it 2 seasons ago. Or no, I think it was IPBL. It was the IPBL I wanted to have it, but I didn't end up getting it. I ended up having to get a lesser form of this type of mon. So with this, I ended up picking up Chestnut, aka Havel the Rock. So this thing just screamed Havel the Rock. I don't know why, but it's great because it gets reliable recovery. It gives me a fighting type. Yes, it's quad weak to flying. I had to think about it for a second, but I mean, flying gets resisted by Empoleon. You know, it's weak to ice. It's resisted by Empoleon. Empoleon's weak to ground. This thing resists it. Eats it easily. So, with that, I felt that Chestnut was really going to be a good fit for the team. Plus, it's another Leech Seeder. It gives me 2 different forms of Leech Seed. Plus, it gives me somebody with reliable recovery. I have, Wish Passing. I have Roost on Gliscor. I have Gardevoir who could Wish Pass. I have another Mon that could Wish Pass. That's later in the draft. So I wanted to kind of frame out the kind of Fire, Water, Grass core I was looking for. And I felt that Chestnut was really, really going to be the best fit for that. So, looking at it, we go into the next round. It's round 7. I actually wanted originally to get Entei. I was really kind of hoping for Entei. But I ended up actually choosing this Mon because I actually started talking to Dom and I was like, dude, I kind of need something, but I'm starting to get this kind of a ground weakness. It's not like really a big deal, but it's kind of eating at me, and I just don't want to have something that's just Earthquake bait. But I mean, if it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. He was like, well, you should pick a Mon that kind of fits with your team. And I was looking at this Mon, I was like, well, what do you think about this one? He's like, actually, I think it fits really good. And then I realized this next Mon quad resists not only ice, it quad resists steel as well. And I'm like, oh my god, like this thing is like just perfect. It quad resists ice, so it can eat ice beams and ice shards. Plus, it can also eat flash cannons and iron heads because it quad resists both of that. And with my 7th pick, I decided to pick up Volcanion. And I'm going to call this one Izalith. Volcanion's name is based off the Witch of Izalith. And Izalith, she tried to recreate the first flame and ended up birthing chaos and the demons of chaos. So Izalith is a place of fire and like lava and water and steam, and I was like, oh dude, this thing just fits the name perfectly. I don't know, it even kind of looks like a demon, and in some of its sets it hits like a demon, so I thought I'd give it an appropriate name. But this is a Volcanion. You get fire blasts, you get stab fire blasts and stab steam eruptions. I am not mad at that at all. I am perfectly okay with that. This thing it hits like a truck. It is what it can do. Plus it has some decent bulk. It's not the fastest thing in the world, but I don't always need it to be the fastest thing in the world. I need it to hit something hard. And that's what this thing can do. Not only does it give me the good defenses that I want, plus it gives me water absorb, which is great. This gives me an immunity to water. I have, 2 Mons that are immune to, immune to ground. And then I have a resistance. I'm sorry, 3 Mons that are immune to ground, and then a resistance, and then I have 2 quad resistances to ice, and I have a water immunity. I'm like, yeah, I'm building up these immunities up the A, and I'm liking that. This thing, I think, just fits the team, and it's exactly what I wanted. I wanted something that could be built with, like, it could be a wall breaker, but it could also be something else. It could have more utility. Plus, I didn't actually realize, I think if I remember correctly, this thing gets defogged, which is kind of scary, kind of weird. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember, and I'm not looking it up right now, so I don't really care. I think it does, but it might not. So if it doesn't, oh well, whatever. But if it does, that's kind of dumb and really awesome at the same time. So, with that, I really wanted Jolteon here. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted Jolteon for this next pick, and it got taken. And I'm not actually going to lie. I think I think there was only, oh no, there was one snipe the entire draft, and that was, I originally, after I made this, I originally wanted Celesteela, Salamence, and Alolan Ninetales as my core, but I ended up not getting it because Ninetales Alola went second round, and so I was, that's why I was worrying about getting a fairy type. And I ended up going with Mecha Gardevoir. But this next pick was supposed to be Jolteon, and Jolteon got sniped out, and so I'm sitting there going, crap, I really wanted a really, really fast Mon. And I was looking at it, I was like, oh, okay, well, I could get this Mon, I can get this Mon. And Dom was helping me out, and like I was throwing Mons around, and he actually suggested I get Heliolisk. And I was like, yeah, you know, I think I'm going to go for it. And then something in me told me to get this next pick. I don't care what it is, but just once, I want to use my mascot. So for the 9th pick, I think is what it is, the 9th pick, or the 8th pick overall, or my 8th pick, I decided I picked up my mascot. We have Lycanroc Dust form. My mascot is here. Sif is here. Sif the Great Wolf. I don't know what it is. I just want to use this thing. I just once, I want to have my mascot in a draft format. Like, I very rarely ever draft around what my mascot is. But like, to be able to get to use it, and it's got a great ability in Tough Claw, so any contact move is boosted. And God, he has a crap ton of them. Like, he has a lot of them. Like Accelerock. Accelerock is a contact move that is priority, and it's stab boosted. So it's like, instead of it being, I think it's like 40, it's something like 75 or 80. So it hits like freaking truck. I don't know the exact numbers on it, but I don't really care. I want to use this thing, and I'm super excited. And this gives me another stealth rocker, as we all know the Lycanroc sets have the lead, the Sash lead set. We all know that, but I want to use this thing for other than just Sash leading rocks out. So the next pick, I was really kind of just jumping around. I'm looking at the tier 4s. I'm like, okay, I need something good. I need something, maybe something fast. And I was really actually looking at, I wanted a dark type, and I was really looking between two Mons, Sneasel and this other Mon. Sneasel was really high up there, and I decided to actually go with this other Mon just because it offered me a little bit more utility. It offered me a little bit more, and its speed is not as fast, but it's still at a decent level of what it can do. So for my 9th pick, I decided to pick Drapion, aka I'm going to call this one Fran. This one is the other primordial serpent that is in the game that advocates the linking of the fire, so the prolonging of the Age of Fire. So it's funny enough, if you take the pictures of Drapion and you take the picture of Gliscor and you kind of put them together, they almost look identical. And I think that's why I wanted to name them Koth and Framp. So Drapion gives me a stab dark, which is what I wanted. It also gives me a poison type. This gives me poison type. This also gives me access to poison spikes, which is something that I'm excited to be able to use. I know this thing can hit like a truck. I'm excited to be able to get a little bit more, a little bit more creative. As he does have two really good abilities. One of them is Sniper, so if he does crit, he crits harder than most. But he also does have Battle Armor, which then prevents him from being critted, which is also great, which is also good as well. And he only has one weakness, which is Ground, so that's actually going to be really good for us. As yeah, we do already have a couple of ground weaknesses, but I'm not really counting Lycanroc because I kind of picked it on a whim, and it's really fast, so it can deal out some damage before it takes a hit. But you know, it is what it is. Excuse me. So the next pick I wanted to pick up, I wanted to help out the kind of the defenses of having a good defense core. If you don't know me, I build kind of like this defense, I build for, what I need to wall break and then what I need to defend myself with. And this Mon I had last year, and it did great. I loved having it. It was really great in a lot of matches that I ended up bringing it to, and it did a lot of work and a lot of stuff. And so this season, I'm bringing it back. I'm bringing back Tootsie Pop under a new name. Lick Licky is coming back as a Sigmir of Katarina. So Lick Licky is just, it's a Wish Passer, Heal Beller. I needed another Heal Bell other than Gardevoir. But I'm not too worried about I'm not too worried about status because I have a lot of things that can eat status, or that a lot of immunities to stuff and stuff like that. So like he just gives me a lot to work with, and that's what I'm excited to be able to do, is to have something that I can work with. And this thing just I really like having it. I think it's a great mon. I think it's a very great value pick at tier 5, worth the points and worth the salt. So it's got a lot of HP and can wish past some pretty big wishes. So other than that, that's pretty much it. So lastly, we had one last mon. I wanted to make sure I had an electric type, and this one, it was either this or Raichu, and I ended up going with this one. So this last pick is Zebstrika. So I've used Zebstrika before, and he's actually very underrated. A lot of people underrate him. I named him Gwendolyn after Gwen's second youngest child. Gwendolyn is a son. Gwendolyn is his son that he raised as a daughter because he had an affinity for the moon, and in Dark Souls lore, an affinity for the moon is more feminine. So it's really weird because he has like all these daughters, because Gwen has all these daughters, because we know of Guinevere, and we also know of Princess Filianor. But he had one son, and a lot of people actually thought it was a female, that he had 3 daughters, but he actually had one son because Gwendolyn is actually a man. But I couldn't think of a good name for this thing, so I just named it Gwendolyn just because it's random. He does random things. Gwendolyn, the boss fight, does random things, so it's pretty easy. But it does give me, the cool thing about this is it gives me an electric immunity in 2 different ways. It gives me Lightning Rod, which then boosts my special attack, or it gives me Motor Drive, which boosts my speed. So it's already a pretty quick mon, so Motor Drive is a pretty good ability, considering if you want to have the fastest mon on the board. But you also get Sap Sipper with this thing, which I thought was cool. I was like, wow, that gives me a grass immunity. So not only do I have an electric immunity, I have a grass immunity, I also have a water immunity, and I have ground immunities. God, I have a lot of immunities. That is a lot of immunities for a team to have. So, but it's very fast, 116. I think it's the fastest thing on my team, and it does a lot. It's a quick volt switcher. It's something that can switch in to other things and do other things. So, it's definitely worth. I think it's definitely worth giving it a shot. I'm not completely sold on it yet, but I'm definitely worth it. I'm definitely worth giving it a shot, and I think it's going to be a good mon. I think it's going to be fun to use. But yeah, that's the team. There we go. So looking at it, we got Celesteela, Volcanion, Chestnut, Lycanroc, Dusk. We got Drapion, Licklicky, Mega Gardevoir, Salamence, Empoleon, Gliscor, and Zebstrika. That is it. There's your Oakland A's team for season 3. I think on paper, I think in my head it looks great, and I think on paper it doesn't look as good as I think it does, because I think that there's a lot of utility and there's a lot of things that can go with this team. But just in what I've been planning for week 1, like everything hits hard, and like I think that's what I'm liking about it, is that everything just hits hard. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'm sorry that I haven't put out videos in a while. I hope you guys stay with us, and I hope to have you return back to the channel again. So week 1 should be next week, and we're going to be facing OP Jellicent and the Toronto Leaf Storms. So I'm definitely prepping for that and getting ready for that. So that's going to be a fun match. It's going to be our first match, our first Wi-Fi match back since last year. So I'm excited to be able to battle again. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe as always. And I will see you next week when we battle the Toronto Leaf Storms and YouTuber OP Jellicent. So have yourselves a great day, and see you later. All right.